Hey everybody, we are the older kids, and this is a movie review.
Get ready.
Hey, we just got back from seeing A Lisp's Worst Nightmare. Solo. A Star Wars story. Anyway, Angie.
Matt.
Solo. Big summer blockbuster. What'd you think?
It was okay. It was, I didn't have high expectations, and I think that helped. After The Last Jedi, I don't have a lot of faith. Sorry, Star Wars fans. But it was okay. It was better than I thought it would be. There were aesthetically a few things that I really enjoyed, but overall, it left me a little bit bored.
The movie was fine. Which is not a good thing in what it's fine. It's no Last Jedi, which was a complete trash fire, but it wasn't anything special.
Right.
Which I feel it had to be in order to sort of dig itself out of this rut that Star Wars has. The movie is falling under this curse of what a Hollywood blockbuster has to be nowadays. Non-stop action, really funny, no chance to develop anything. There's no real lulls in the movie, which movies need. 2 hours of just action doesn't really pull off.
It doesn't
unless
tell
you're
a story.
Mad Max Fury Road,
Right.
which is that. But with this story, this is supposed to be Han Solo's story. This is how we are supposed to know where Han Solo came from, how
Why he is the way he is.
why the way he is the way he is, what, put him on Tatooine and all these other things. Do you feel that this story brought that to you?
No.
Me neither.
I mean, I feel like at least briefly said and that's how we did this. But it didn't really tell a full story of Han's upbringing, his life so far, what happened with his family, how did he end up where the movie starts. Anything that's not explained. It's basically just one mission, a few days out of the life of Han Solo.
The film itself had to hinge itself on the character of Han Solo, and if he brought that to screen.
I'm gonna be a pilot. Best in the galaxy.
Do you believe, or what did you think of his performance? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it?
I was not convinced at any point that this was really Han Solo. He doesn't look anything like Harrison Ford. He doesn't at all. So I couldn't get past that. Like you said, it's basically another person with the same name is really how that felt, throughout the entire movie. And it felt so forced. There's no, granted it was also written that way, there really wasn't room for character development, but he played the same person, emotion, facial expression, the entire film.
Yeah, I think he did, frankly, a terrible job at portraying Han Solo. Now, I'm I'm going in, I understand this. It's not Harrison Ford. No one will ever be Harrison Ford to that character. So I have to give him a little bit of leeway of like, you are been put in this role.
Big shoes to fill.
Huge shoes to fill. Iconic character of all of film history. And the thing is, like, it doesn't seem like he's even attempting any, like, Han Solo is the essence of cool. As a kid, we all were like, Han Solo, he's, like, smug and suave. Yeah, he had no suave to him. He had no bravado that Han Solo, like, yeah, I'm the shit.
Yeah, he was really
Absolutely none of it.
quite awkward.
Right, he was quite awkward through the film,
Very
and that's
clumsy. And
okay in the beginning if you want to show, okay, here Han Solo, when he started, was pretty like a dorky Luke Skywalker character, but then he grew into his bravado, his suaveness. But that never happened. It just, he started and ended in the same place,
right.
which ruins the entire Solo experience for me.
You have a talent for sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong.
I just couldn't help but notice you're wearing a uniform pock full of laser burns, so either you healed real quick or you stole it off a dead man. You're not Imperial Army. You're thieves here to steal equipment for a job, and I want in. Well, now.
A major problem was Han Solo is not a funny character. He was never played as comic relief. In the original trilogy, he was funny because that's what, he played who he was.
Right.
Because he was being an asshole, that's what made him humorous, but he wasn't telling jokes.
Cynical humor.
Right. And in this entire movie, it is just him telling jokes.
Right.
Like, trying to be funny, and it is the most awkward, uneasy feeling, and it didn't hit at all. We were in this theater, and I think I heard one laugh the entire time.
Right.
And this movie just tried to kept throwing things at the wall to see what would stick.
He may as well have, looked at the camera after every joke.
190 years old? You look great.
But no, nothing.
And he had this weird low twangy voice he would go in all the time, and it didn't feel like Han Solo to me, and that's the major problem. Your movie is called Solo. You get Solo right, you got a good movie. If you get Solo wrong, you got a bad movie.
Right.
You had Solo wrong in that
one job.
Yeah, you have one job, and you got the most boring, bland, uncharismatic actor to play him.
Yeah. And he doesn't.
I'd rather had old ass Harrison Ford trying to pull off the young Han Solo. I'd be totally okay with that.
Aesthetically, I really enjoyed it. Similar to the other most recent Star Wars movies, it looked great. It sounded great. This one had a bit of a different setting. It was a little more nitty gritty, I feel, more realistic. I mean, I know it's a sci-fi movie, but to me it felt a little more relatable. There weren't all these perfect polished settings. It was it felt almost like a western, you know?
There was some dirt on
yeah,
it,
like a war movie or a western. I appreciated that part of it.
Yeah, there were a couple of sequences where it really looked like it was going to get into a more grittier, dirtier, boots on the ground movie. Mm-hmm. Some parts of Rogue One was like that too, where it was shot in that Saving Private Ryan war movie stuff, and I did enjoy that. I did enjoy some of the creative characters and creatures in the movie. Mm-hmm. There were some things that I haven't seen before, and I thought were pretty clever, pretty scary. But other than that, yeah, it looks good, and it's easy to say nowadays because computers can make anything. It looks great. Yeah, I mean, Last Jedi is probably the best looking Star Wars film of all time. It's absolutely amazing. It looks great, but
that doesn't make a movie.
No,
it doesn't
looks don't make a movie, but it is important to, recognize the hundreds and hundreds of artists who spend hours and hours and hours of time to make a movie look good. You did your jobs amazingly. Congrats.
Thank you.
To skip spoilers, to see our rating, skip down to this time. Otherwise, buckle your seatbelts, baby.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Push it!
One of Star Wars' like new things is just having people be good at things.
Yeah.
Without showing. Like one of the things that I was looking forward to the most is trying to like seeing like Han is this hotshot pilot, but nobody can control. Like he's not going to be controlled by anybody.
Right.
But like they need him because he's a great pilot. But we don't get any of that in the movie. None. Absolutely. There's no like 5-second of montage of him joining the Imperial Army, being a pilot, and doing like some sweet Top Gun shit.
Right.
And they're like, we can't control you, Solo. You're down to the infantry. But the audience needs to know, like, okay, he's a good pilot. I don't want to be told he's a good pilot. I want to be shown that he's a good pilot.
And that's all it is they, like, the entire explanation for those several years that was a goal of his to become a pilot.
Right.
Was literally in one sentence, I got kicked out of the academy.
Got kicked out of the academy.
And they're like, okay. And they continue with the story.
Not why he got kicked out of the academy or like top of his class and nothing. We get nothing. And it's just sort of it's the Rey syndrome. She's just good at it.
Yep.
She's just good at it. Don't worry about how good they are.
Chewbacca's honorable intro into this movie is that he is the Beast, who apparently eats people. They never like question that later, like, hey, did you actually eat those guys? Anyway, so they throw him in a pit, a mud pit. Poor muddy Chewbacca comes running out and they fight. They have a little fight scene. And Han Solo stops himself from being eaten by Chewbacca by speaking Wookiee.
Why does he know Wookiee?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Meh.
We've gotten
We don't
no
care.
context so far, so yeah.
We don't care about things in this movie. We just more action.
And
Throw more things on the screen.
I just love that Chewbacca, who is a foot taller than him, was already beating the crap out of him, absolutely winning the fight, is like, alright, I'm not gonna question this, I'm gonna follow you everywhere, I'm like your pet now.
Right, and there was
That's
there was no like sentimental moment where Chewie's like, hey, thank you for saving my life.
Right.
I now owe you the life debt that Chewie has with Han. Not that scene, not in the movie. Not in the movie. Because we can't have feelings.
No.
There's a point where it's like, okay, I know what the movie's gonna do, and you don't have to, foreshadow it anymore. And they just like throw it past the line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many times Woody Harrelson's just like, don't trust anybody. Han!
Don't trust anybody.
Don't trust. I'm the bad guy.
Everyone
Han.
in this room,
Han!
don't trust him.
Don't trust nobody, Han. Han, it's me. I'm the bad guy, Han.
And what does Han do?
Shh. Hey. Han.
Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you, and you will never be disappointed.
The droid is so obnoxious and unfunny, which is supposed to be comic relief, but the biggest thing is its whole character, its entire character is equal rights for robots.
Yep. Like a droid social justice warrior.
This SJW robot in my Han Solo film for no reason.
Right.
For no reason. And it's like, I agree with the plan that they're throwing down. Like, I agree in equal rights and all that good stuff. It's just, it was so jarring and unnecessary.
It's very forced.
And like, stuff it down your
like
throat.
very like not subtle in any way. And I swear,
Absolutely
like
not.
they took that droid's voice and like cranked up the volume. I swear, because every time she talked, I was just like,
L337 wants equal rights for droids and refuses to take guff from anyone who suggests otherwise.
Let go of the mean man's face.
It was just unapologetically, this is what we are.
Yeah.
Like, there was no bigger meaning to it either. There wasn't like, the movie wasn't all like there's this underlying story of equal rights. There wasn't.
Right.
It was just the robot freed one droid and it freed all the other droids, and they started the rebellion.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was, I could not like look at the screen sometimes. It was so awkward and terrible. And then it dies and I was like, yes! Yeah! I was so excited.
It's kind of sad because she could have been a really cool character because she was a cool droid.
It looked cool.
But yeah, it was just very like every line she had was just obnoxious.
Lando's droid L337 is the wokest droid in the galaxy.
And it's just not the movie for it.
No.
And you're wasting up precious screen time for it, and it's dumb, and please stop.
They introduced the Marauders, which I got super duper excited about. I'm not anymore. But there was a time where I was super excited.
They were cool.
About
The main Marauder
Marauders.
dude, when he like pulling out like his sweet gaffy stick or whatever,
they
that
were
was awesome. I
dope.
like it. He had a Boba Fett effect for me, where it was just like you didn't see his face, but he had the sweet armor,
Yeah.
and you could tell that they were a badass.
And there's these like pirates, and like pirates are always cool.
Right,
So
and
it was
they're
just awesome.
they're just trying to steal things, and I was like, okay, that
was-
makes sense. Like they're in this underground world, they're all
Right.
like they're backstabbing each other
it
constantly.
was two
It's-
groups of outlaws fighting over a train heist. I thought that was cool. But yeah, it's in the past now.
Right, and I guess if we're on the Marauders thing, we soon find out. Well, not soon, but we find out later on that they're good guys. They're only stealing fuel so they can spark the rebellion.
Yeah.
Because we can't have bad characters in movies.
And the fantastic, badass-looking leader with the lowest gravelly voice in the world is like a 14-year-old girl with freckles. She's adorable. I hate it.
You must have known you'd see me again.
Oh my God! He said was for 30.
Her reasoning for like becoming leader of this gang of revenge seekers is like, well, my mom did it. But let's not talk about parents in this movie. We're gonna move on now. That's all you get.
It's like just the same thing happened with Han. It was like Han was like my dad used to work on freighters and he wanted to be a pilot, and Lando's like, oh, you close with your old man? And he's like, not really. And like there's a story there. There's probably a much better story there, but do we touch? No, don't worry about that.
Lando responds with, yeah, like me neither. And
Yeah,
they're just like,
yeah, screw it.
go back to flying the ship.
Yeah, it's just like anytime there's any sort of lull, it's just like cancel this. We don't care. We don't want any story development. Get to the next action sequence.
How many times can we put the dice in this?
Oh, and here's the great story about like what I really thought was clever in the film too was the story of the dice that they don't tell us.
Oh, yes. The very
symbol that Han Solo is apparently is these dice. Do we know where it comes from? Do we know anything about him? No.
And we never will.
Absolutely not. As like... But don't worry, there's going to be like there's going to be Solo 2, where Han Solo is out in the middle of the space and there's a giant squid this time that tries to eat
Instead of an
him.
octopus. It's all right, don't worry. But no, like the dice were in the first 30 seconds of the film. And then they just kept showing up.
Like, I think the dice had an agent, and like the agent came in and was like, "Yo, we need a shot of the dice here,
yeah.
all right?" Because they would show that dice like every like 20 minutes. There had to be a shot of the dice, and it's like, okay, yeah, I get this is a big memento of Han Solo. Like, this is what what Luke gives Leia at the end of the Last Jedi. Like, this is supposed to be Han Solo's memento. Do we know why it's meaningful to him? No, he could have just picked it up off the ground one day and was like, dope, these are cool.
These are cool, yeah.
Like, no emotional reasoning behind it at all.
No.
We don't explain things, we just
show them as many times as we can.
We just hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
To the end of the movie. The end of the movie. And... everybody betrays each other like 6
times.
God.
It's like a cycle of betrayal.
And you're just
waiting,
and you're waiting for for Kira to finally betray it, and like there's like 3 different like psych outs where and it's just like, okay, we're gonna play this out more. Like, we know the audience knows that she's gonna betray him.
She can't stay
Because the entire time he's like, you don't know her. She's done things.
Yes.
You don't even know the things she's done.
They mention like 6 times the terrible things that Kira has done. Do they ever say what?
No.
Goodness, no.
No.
That would be context.
Yeah.
And we don't do that here at Disney.
And then, of course, in the end, she finally which wasn't really a betrayal. She just she kills the Voss guy. And now she's the new leader because they play by pitch black rules, apparently.
Right.
Where you keep what you kill.
You keep what you kill.
Sort of leader of this syndicate, and she flies away.
Yeah.
And her and Han look at each other, and you can tell that they still care, which completely makes the entire thing moot.
It's like they're pretending that it's gonna go on and they're gonna be happy, but it's not really going to, but they keep talking about it like it is. It's like the softest betrayal you've ever seen in your life.
It's so sugar-coated. Yeah. Because you can't have anything at all sort of conflicting in these movies.
Right.
You can't have anything...
You can't say no.
Yeah, you can't have her be a bad guy and Han Solo be a bad guy. And it's like, no, you have to have the moment where Han Solo just doesn't care anymore except for the paycheck. Because that's where we pick up in A New Hope. So you have the setup. The setup is there. You did it. He's in love with the girl. And he is saying, no, I believe her throughout the entire movie, that she's not this bad person. Then it's on a silver platter for you. She just is like, nope, I don't care about you, Han Solo. This was all just a power play move. You can go die, and I wouldn't even care. There it is. Then Han Solo is like, all right, if I'm in this life, it's just backstab after backstab. Right. I don't really care. All I care about is getting paid.
He doesn't experience any kind of heartbreak at any point.
No heartbreak, there's no moment where he just realizes, okay, this is what it is. I don't care about people anymore. After Kira becomes the old new bossness.
Boss lady.
She talks to Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Darth fucking Maul.
It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. We, in the theater, looked at each other like, what?
I just rolled my eyes. I just rolled my eyes like, of course.
No,
okay. Absolutely.
I've
Why
never
not?
been so upset to see my favorite character on screen. My favorite character.
So, for those who don't know, and apparently this is now canon for the Star Wars universe, after Darth Maul gets killed in The Phantom Menace, Palpatine finds his body and then clones a new Darth Maul. This happens in the Clone Wars, the TV show.
Right.
Like, it was supposed to be a moment where everyone was supposed to, like, get there.
Right.
Like,
He
whoa!
pulls the hood off.
Darth Maul! Oh my gosh!
Don't you force him in.
And it was just completely forced, and also they didn't get a guy. They completely computer generated Darth Maul, and he
it
looked like
didn't look
crap.
good. It did not look good.
He looked like crap.
It hurt. But they had to get him in there,
They
so
had
he
to-
was there for
they had
a
to
solid
smush him into the
20 seconds.
to the Star Wars pancake,
He took his hood off and he stood up, and that was
and
it.
he turned his lightsaber on.
Yeah, for some reason.
Ah!
In case you forgot I had this.
Ha! Gotcha.
Anyway. Yep, and then the last person that they had to name drop, also more than once, was there's a new gangster on Tatooine. Wonder who that could be.
Huh, a gangster on Tatooine.
I'll go check that.
I wonder if it's Jabba.
No.
And you think we will get the story of why Han is indebted to Jabba before New Hope? No. Because there'll be a whole new Solo movie like for that.
Right.
And then Kira and Darth Maul are going to show up, and Han Solo is going to fight Darth Maul. It doesn't differentiate itself between thousands of movies that come out on the summer blockbuster list,
Right.
which is its worst trait. And the fact that it's a Star Wars movie, and I'm such a big Star Wars fan, it's harder to me. And you're just... Star Wars has a huge lore base, but we just can't get out of the original trilogy. We can't burst out of this because, you know, we need to know Han Solo's backstory. Like, I didn't care about where Han Solo came from before A New Hope.
Right.
After the original trilogy, I was like, I wonder where Han Solo learned to fly that darn thing there. Like, no, it was not.
You've got a whole universe.
You've got a whole universe and a whole lore that you can explore. Old Republic stuff, New Republic stuff. You don't have to mess with the original trilogy. And that's what they keep doing. And they're ruining Han Solo. Well, they've ruined Han Solo.
That's already been done.
They've ruined Luke Skywalker. They ruined Leia. Like, it's just... Leave these things alone.
So glad we took this job!
After all of that, would you recommend Solo? A Star Wars story.
It depends on the person. I know a lot of people actually really enjoyed Solo. Most everybody that I've asked has actually given good reviews on it. It depends how picky you are about this series. I personally wouldn't recommend it to a Star Wars fan, I guess. It just kind of lets you down. I don't know. It's as a movie, aside from that, as a movie, I just found it to be rather boring and redundant, a bit bland.
I would say if you are bored on a $5 Tuesday and there's nothing else available, just watch, sure.
It
See
looks pretty. It'll keep you occupied for 2 hours.
If you want to just pass out for 2 hours and not care, Solo's great for that. But as a movie and as a Star Wars movie, it doesn't do anything above and beyond any normal Hollywood blockbuster does. It's got bad acting, plot holes, all the usual stuff that Hollywood blockbusters have.
Right.
And it ruins one of the most iconic characters in film history. Now, I'm not trying to be a Star Wars hater. I really don't. I wanted to go in wanting to like Solo.
I would love to love
I would
these
love
movies.
to, absolutely. I don't want to hate on Star Wars. It hurts me to hate on Star Wars, but I can't stand here and with a grin on my face saying Last Jedi was amazing and and the Solo movie is great. They're not.
No.
It's Hollywood schlock with a Star Wars logo. And people are just going to keep eating it up, and we're just going to get Star Wars movie after Star Wars movie after Star Wars movie. Like, we're going to go see, like, apparently a new trilogy. A Boba Fett movie just got green-lighted.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
You know, we'll probably get Kira the movie, Darth Maul's side movies.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a whitewash of Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're going to milk the teat until there's nothing left. And it's a shame,
It is.
but, you know, Hollywood's going to do what Hollywood does, and we can only hope that they get creative people who are going to take the franchise into new and exciting directions. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like our Facebook page and Twitter account, you know, all that good stuff if you would like to, for upcoming videos and things. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of what you're doing, and drink the blue milk.
Amen.
God, yeah.
Anyway.
Han Solo is not his real name. He gets it assigned to him by Imperial Guard.
It was like a moment of like really forced angst, because like he knew his father, so clearly he knew he
And he's
had
like,
a
I don't
last
have
name.
anybody.
Who are your people? I don't have people.
I don't have people.
And therefore I don't have a surname.
Okay, how about Solo?